Hi, this is going to be a two-part lesson on solving and graphing inequalities involving multiplying and dividing. So here we go. Example number one. We want to solve and graph -4 times m and when it's greater than or equal to 8. So we need to find all the values of m, all the values. That's because that's what inequalities do. It's just not one value. It's all the values of m that make that a true statement, that make -4 times whatever m is greater than or equal to 8. So here we go. We're just going to go for it. We're going to draw a balance line. Again, don't draw it through the inequality. That kind of makes it look a little nasty. Do it on the side. -4m. Well, -4m means -4 times m. So that I'm going to rewrite, but I already know the inverse of multiplying is dividing. So we're going to divide both sides by make sure you keep that negative. Don't lose that negative, guys. Just like always, right? This equals 1. So we have m is greater than or equal to, well, positive divided by negative is a negative, and 8 divided by 4 is 2. So I think that all the m's that are greater than or equal to -2, all the m's that are greater than or equal to -2 will make this up here a true statement. So let's check that. Well, -2 is my focus number, and I have that equal to sign right there, so I'm going to make this a closed point. And I want all the m's that are greater than -2. Well, if it's negative, positives are always bigger than negatives, so I'm going to head towards the positives. So if that's the case, make my arrow nice and crisp looking over there. So if that's the case, let's choose a number. You know me, if I can choose 0, I always choose 0. -4 times 0, is that greater than or equal to 8? -4 times 0 is 0. So the question is, 0 is greater than 8, right? No, it's not. Wait. 0 is smaller than 8. So this isn't true. Maybe I just chose the wrong, maybe I just chose a bad number. How about, why don't I try a different number? Why don't I try -1? Let's try -1. -4 times -1. Is that bigger than or equal to 8? Negative times a negative is a positive. 4 times 1 is 4. So 4 is bigger than 8. No, it's not. So wait, something's not right. Like, I divided by a negative, and for some reason this isn't working. So, what the heck? All right, well, something's not right. If I divide by, while I'm dividing, something's going wrong. So, hold on, let's stop. So I'm getting nervous. I know adding and subtracting doesn't mess anything up. So, why don't we try solving this with adding and subtracting and see what's going on? So let's try it again. Oh, epic mealtime maneuver. That's right. I've already got the try again ready. You think I'm faking it? I was. I knew that was going to mess up. I'm that good. Here we go. Let's try again. I'm putting my balance line. I'm putting it over there because I put it on the side of the entrance mark. That looks make it look like a triangle, and I don't want a triangle. -4m is greater than or equal to 8. Okay, well, I don't like that negative. That -4m is bugging me. So why don't I do this? Why don't I say, I'm going to add 4m to both sides. From combining like terms and also on the videos with variables on both sides, I know if I add 4m here, I have to add 4m here. 4m, not 4 and not m, 4m, the whole thing. Well, this is all going to equal 0. So now I have 0 is greater than or equal to 8 plus 4m. Okay. Now let's move the 8 over. Well, I need to add negative 8 to both sides. Negative 8 and 8 make 0. So we got 4m. And now I have 0 plus negative 8. Well, that's negative 8. I'm going to rewrite. Let's take a moment and think about what we just did. 4m, well, I got negative 8 is greater than or equal to 4m. Well, that's kind of what does that look like? Think about what the original problem was. That's saying negative 4m is greater than or equal to 8. Now we're saying negative 8 is bigger than 4m, right? Here's my question. I kind of like to have m on the other side, don't you? Like I prefer to have m over here and negative 8 over here. If you switch the numbers, if you decide to switch the numbers, you have to switch the inequality sign also, because negative 8, the alligator teeth, have to go after negative 8. Okay, no problem. So now we have this. 4m, positive 4m, is greater than or equal to negative 8. When it used to... Look at this. Check this out. You noticing this? I made this into a positive when it used to be negative. Well, negative 8 became negative also. But look what happened to the sign. Look at the symbol. Look at the inequality symbol. It used to be this. Now it's this. You see how it flipped? Craziness. I'm going to divide by 4 on both sides. Let's do it. So m would be less than or equal to negative 2. Okay. You noticing that also? We got negative 2 still. What's different about this answer and this answer? Look at my old answer, the one that was wrong, and look at this one. What's different? The inequality symbol's different, isn't it? It used to be greater than, but that didn't work. And now I think m being less than negative 2 would work. Let's try it. Let's see what happens. Negative 2 is again my focus number, and it's equal to, it could be equal to. By the way, you cannot choose negative 2 as your check number. You have to choose something that is less than negative 2. So we're less than, now we're going this way. Hey look, my inequality symbols are the opposite. It used to go towards 0. Now I'm going towards negative infinity. Towards negative infinity. You can never get to negative infinity. It is not a number. It is a concept. Parents, I am looking at you because I know you're going to say negative infinity is a number and you're wrong. You come talk to me after school and I will tell you to your face you're wrong. Infinity is not a number. I'm going to choose a number, so let's go with negative 3. And I'm asking, is this greater than or equal to 8? Negative times a negative is a positive. 4 times 3 is 12. So, is 12 bigger than 8? $12 is better than $8. Heck yeah. So, well, what happened? What's so different from these two answers? Up here, I divided by negative 4, but I didn't change the inequality symbol. And it got me the wrong answer. So that's weird. Because when I divide by positive 4, I didn't have to change it, and it worked. So this is bringing in the rule. This is all about this fancy rule. So go and finish copying down what you need to. This is bringing in a rule that is the fundamental, hardest thing to remember about inequalities. This is it. Whenever you divide or multiply by a negative, if you multiply or divide by a negative number, you must reverse the inequality symbol. Whatever the inequality symbol is, like if it's this one, make it look good. If it's this one, you got to turn it into this one. It has to reverse. You got to change it around. When you divide or multiply by a negative, that's when you divide or multiply by a negative, not when you're dividing a negative. If it's already negative and you're dividing by a positive, you're fine. It's when you're dividing by a new negative. That's when it's an issue. And we'll do some more examples of that in class. But here's example number 2. Let's see if this rule's right. I'm going to rewrite. See, the opposite of dividing, the inverse of dividing is multiplying. So I'm going to multiply by negative 13. This equals 1. So n and a negative time. Oh, this is 13. Not. By the way, multiplying by 10, coolest number ever, right? What do we, if we're just multiplying by 10, we just add a 0 to 13. And positive times a negative is a negative. And now, what did we just do? We multiplied by negative 13. We did that. So because of our rule up here, what we discovered on our first example, we got to change the inequality symbol to the opposite one. So now it's, n is greater than negative 130. Negative 130. Okay, so here's another little thing about graphing. I chose a number. Well, I have to use negative 130, and it's an open circle because it's greater than. There's no equal sign. I don't have to go negative 129. I can skip every other number as long as I show that. That's okay. That's fine. But you have to be consistent about it. Here's my check. By the way, oh, greater than? So positives are bigger than negatives, right? So there's my number line. So I'm going to take a number bigger than negative 130. Well, here's where I say this. I'm going towards the positives, which means I'm going to run over 0 eventually. I'm going to use 0. You can use any number you want. But 0, it's like the magic number of this whole section. If you can use it. You can't always use it all the time. Well, 0, if I have nothing, and I break it into 13 pieces, I still have nothing. And it's not negative 0, it's just 0. And that is less than 10. Is $0 less than $10? Yes. So we're good. This is it. The inequality rule is the one little tiny trick you have to know for the inequality section. Everything else is basically review. This is it. This is the smallest little tiny rule you got to know for the whole section to get it right. That's all you got to learn. So memorize this rule, really study this rule, and that's all you have to really know for this part, for this whole section, for these next videos on inequalities. Well, there's your notes. Have a great night. See you later.